Hey, math fans, we're on section 1.0, the beginning of chapter 1. Let's get started. This section is pretty quick. We're going to identify individuals, variables in a data set, and classify variables as categorical or quantitative. So to sum up, statistics is the science of data, and data analysis is the process of organizing, displaying, summarizing, and asking questions about data. Individuals are objects described by a set of data, and then a variable is any characteristic of that individual. And those variables can be summed up into categorical or quantitative variables. Categoricals are categories. You can put it into a group, type of music, type of food, type of whatever could be a categorical variable. Quantitative, though, is a number. If you are asking someone, how old they are, or how tall they are, or what their grade point average, if you're going to get a number as a response, where it would make sense to take the average or the median or something along those lines, then it's quantitative. The tricky part is, what do you do with the categorical variables that are actually numbers? Like zip codes. Zip codes are actually categorical variables, whereas something like grade point average would not be. You wouldn't average a zip code. You would just place them into a category. So distribution tells us what values a variable takes and how often it takes those values. Notice here's a list of cars with miles per gallon, and it could make sense to average all those miles per gallon. So that is numerical data. However, we could categorize these cars as sedans or pickup trucks or sports cars. So those would be categorical variables. Or the model in itself could be a categorical variable. A tricky part would be maybe, what about a V6 versus a V8 versus a V4? Now, those have numbers in it, but those are categories as well. So be careful with that. And there's a dot plot of the distribution. We're going to be talking about the center, shape, spread, any possible outliers of this numerical data set. So how to explore data. I'm going to show you different number of graphs. I'm also going to show you what this printout means and how this right here, when it says X bar, is going to be the mean. And I'll make sense of all of these different values as well. The N is always the sample size, so there were 24 cars. And here's the graphic again of the population versus the sample. Remember, the sample is a subset of the population. We're trying to make inferences about the population. We're trying to generalize. So you got to get a representative sample first, and then we're going to be performing in this chapter, collecting that data and then performing a data analysis, finding the center, the shape, the spread of the distribution, and then make some inferences about the population. So what did we learn? We learned that there's individuals, there are variables, two types of variables, categorical, quantitative, and we talked a little bit about the distribution, and we will be making inferences based off of that data. All right, and that'll do it for section 1.0. We'll see you in class.